You know, we're all chasing something in life, but what if the finish line we're all sprinting towards is in the completely wrong place? Today, we're gonna dig into the real meaning of success, and trust me, the answer might just change how you see everything.
Okay, so let's dive right in. The world basically hands us a playbook for success, right? And it's built on these 4 big pillars. You've got to have wealth, you need to earn respect, you should chase fame, and of course, you have to maintain your health. This is the formula we're all sold for a happy, successful life.
But here's the big question. What if that entire playbook is flawed? What if we're so busy trying to score points in the game of life that we never stop to ask what the real prize even is? That's the core idea we're going to unpack.
To really get our heads around this, we need to do something pretty simple. We need to zoom out, way out. It all boils down to perspective and how we think about our time here.
Now, just take a second to really look at this comparison. On one side, you have this life. Let's say we get 70, 80, maybe 90 years if we're really lucky. And on the other side, the source material brings in this concept of the hereafter, which is, well, forever, eternity. So here's the kicker. When you put our tiny little lifespan up against an infinite timeline, it's not even a drop in the ocean. It's barely a blip. So if this life is just a fleeting moment, does it really make sense to make it our one and only focus? Suddenly, the value of everything we're chasing starts to look a little different.
All right, to make this idea really hit home, let's look at a powerful story from history. It's a tale of 2 figures who could not be more different, the Pharaoh of Egypt and the prophet Moses.
By every single worldly standard, Pharaoh was the ultimate success story. I mean, think about it. He was the king of one of the greatest civilizations ever. He had wealth we can't even imagine, fame that's literally lasted for thousands of years, and absolute unquestioned power. He was the poster child for success. And then you've got Prophet Moses. He was on the complete opposite end of the spectrum. No kingdom, no army, definitely no money. In fact, for a huge part of his life, he was an outcast, persecuted and on the run. From a worldly point of view, he had nothing.
So it begs the question, right? Who was the real winner here? The man who had everything this world could possibly offer, or the man who, on the surface, had absolutely nothing?
Well, the answer comes from Pharaoh himself in his final moments. The source tells us that as his life was ending, he didn't wish for more gold or more power. He wished for the simplest, most anonymous life you can imagine. A life of quiet happiness, totally unknown to the world. That final regret just shows how hollow all of his worldly success really was.
Okay, that's a pretty heavy story, but how does it apply to us right here, right now?
Well, the source gives us this really beautiful and simple analogy to think about. Life is like a great train journey. So picture this. You're on a train, sitting by the window, watching the beautiful scenery roll by. But it's so easy to get distracted, isn't it? You start looking around, thinking, hey, that person in the next car has a better seat, or wait, why did they get a better snack than me? You get completely wrapped up in the tiny, temporary details of the ride. But the source reminds us that the real joy of the trip isn't just the view. It's the excitement of knowing where you're headed, that you're on your way to a wonderful destination, like your grandmother's house. And that's the whole point. It's about adopting this traveler mindset, realizing that this world, this life, it's like a temporary inn, a resting stop on a much longer journey. It's a place to be appreciated, for sure, but we can't mistake it for our final home. True, lasting happiness comes from that very understanding. And this is where it gets really relevant. The source argues that so much of our modern stress, anxiety, and depression comes from forgetting this. We get absolutely obsessed with the journey itself, the status, the competition, the better seat on the train, and we totally lose sight of where we're actually going. We start to believe the train is the destination. All right, let's bring this all home. If all the things the world tells us to chase are just distractions, just scenery passing by the train window, then what should our actual goal be? How do we find that real, deep contentment? Here's the bottom line. Worldly success, the fame, the wealth, it's all temporary scenery. True success, the kind that lasts, is all about your final destination. And when you really focus on that ultimate goal, something amazing happens. You become free from the constant stress and envy of the journey. You can actually enjoy the ride without being crushed by the competition because you know something so much better is waiting for you at the end. So as we wrap this up, it really just leaves us with one simple but massive question to think about. This life is a journey, and just like every journey, it's going to end. The only thing that really truly matters is when the ride is over, where do you want to arrive?